Now I'm going to show you how to cut the row and buba. That is a blouse like what I'm wearing. I've already shown you the full picture before of what I'm wearing. It normally comes with a round neck. This is the classic style of the row and buba, and the sleeve can vary in length. The one I'm wearing is called the oleku, but it can be longer in length up to your wrist. So in cutting the buba, you need the measurements of your shoulder across the shoulder. As you can see, the joining is around here, so from this point to the other end, as I demonstrated before. And you also need to measure the sleeve length. So wherever that shoulder, across the shoulder stopped, you start from there and measure to the desired length of the buba sleeve. I want you to know that the buba length is actually determined by the depth of your fabric. So here I have a lace fabric, and you can see the lace fabric edge is scalloped. So naturally this becomes the hem for the sleeve as well as for the buba itself. This is another lace. You can see beautiful lace that has stones. So it's very good to use good looking and expensive looking. It could be expensive looking but not really expensive in making buba and iro. It could also be made from ashoke, as I will show you later. You can also make it from vegetable wax. This is a wax made by High Target in Nigeria. So you can make it from fabric like this, and I'm going to show you how to cut and sew it. So if I'm using lace, for instance, to sew it, because my lace already has a lacy edge, as you can see, this side has an edge and this side I have an edge. Automatically this becomes the hem of my buba. So all I need to do is fold into two equal, that the edges of the lace will be meeting. You fold into two like this, and then from an end measure the measurement you took across your shoulder from one end to the other. So for this demonstration I'm using the shoulder, the length as 25. The length I'm going to use is 25, and the sleeve length is going to be 11 by 20. So I'm folding my fabric selvage to selvage, and if it was a lace, the lace edge to meeting the lace edge. Fold to into two equal parts and pin in place. So along the fold here, I'll measure out the 25. So you know 24 plus 24 is 48, so there will still be room because it has to be roomy. So I mark. After cutting out, I fold into two. So I now have 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fold into two. So I want to cut out the neckline. So in cutting out the neckline, I'll measure the classic buba line measurement to cut the classic round buba. It can be wider. It's 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch and 4.5 inch diagonal, then 1 inch in. The reason why you should put this 1 inch in, because you don't want a situation where you have a V after cutting. Now I can cut, no seam allowance or anything. You can trace this out, connect it, and you have the neck, and you cut out the buba neckline. Or you can use the regular scissors. And I'll notch where I will attach my sleeve. And that is a classic buba round neck. So next I will cut the sleeve. See, minding the fact that the selvedge area is where I have the scallop if it's lace I'm using. I will now fold, make sure it's equal, and measure out 11 inches. So the measurement you use is actually determined by how wide you want your buba, the sleeve to be, if it's going to be this wide. So I'm using 11. I'll fold on that where I marked and I'll pin in place. So in marking out the sleeve, I have to think, is it a short oleku? For instance, this one, you can see the hem is from this distance to this distance because the hem will help to weight it down. But if it has scallops, there's no need to fold in the hem. So right now, if my sleeve length, I want it to be finished sleeve length, if I want it to be, say, 15, I will consider my hem and add an allowance of 2 inches more or more if I like. So I'm making it 3 inches, so the total length is 18. So I'm going to use that 18 to cut out my sleeve now. So I will now cut out the piece. After cutting out the piece, and now mind you, I'll mark out the hem. So the hem, the allowance I added for hem is 3 inches. I'll mark it up and I put a notch there. So that's where this will now be my fold line. Immediately you can use your iron to create a crease there. Then, because I don't want to wear my sleeve and it will be protruding here, I'm going to draw an angle line. So take 1 inch inward and use it as a guide to draw a diagonal line to the shoulder point. And this I can cut off. So we can now put our shoulder notch in the sleeve and we are ready to sew.